I have so many videos coming. I've got 2 book boxes, a yarn crawl, a mystery knit along. We have a lot going on this month. Hello, my name is Emily Crow from The Cozy Crow or Crochet Creations, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to share with you everything that I worked on in the month of June, as well as some hopeful plans for the month of July. We've got a lot coming up in the yarn world, especially where I am in Utah over the next month, so let's dive right into it. We don't have a lot of news per se, though we do have one thing that I want to mention here. My friend Sarah of 9 Wishes Yarn Co. is doing an advent box inspired by nostalgic Winnie the Pooh, and I am going to be designing 2 new sock patterns to go with the boxes. So she's got a 1 sock set box, and she's also got a weekly countdown calendar style box. Both of them will be to open in December, and I will be designing both a DK weight sock pattern and a fingering weight sock pattern of a similar texture, so that whatever yarn weight you decide to purchase in either of your boxes, you can get that pattern included in the box. There's also some goodies from Tinker's Hollow, there's also some goodies from Good Faith Handmade, and Tara Loves to Crochet is also doing some crochet patterns that will be included in these boxes. So lots of really fun things. I really love Sarah's colors, and she does saturated really well, but she also has recently delved into more like pastel colors and desaturated colors, and I really love what she has come up with, and I am really honored that I'm going to be included in this box. As I film this, Sarah's at half capacity, so make sure to jump on over to dinewishesYarnCo.com if you are interested in purchasing either of these boxes. I think she's hoping to do this in the future as like a yearly theme for her advent / countdown calendar type boxes in December time. So if you like something like this, I think more is coming as well. So yeah, that's like the only news going on in the world of crochet creations. So let's talk about my finished objects for the month. I have 3, which I feel pretty good about. First and foremost, this is something you saw last podcast episode. These are the tea leaf socks by Carly Perrins of Northwoods Knit Co. I tested this pattern for her, and I had finished 1 sock and was on the 2nd sock. And now I'm totally done knitting my pair of socks. If you look, there's some beautiful texture. I really like this texture. And then this ruffle cuff, super cute. I use Bella Fileto Studio in the color Pure Head Lights, which is this really pretty like creamy base with some pinks and blues kind of watercolored in there, and a couple speckles, which is really fun. I really love this pair of socks. I'm really excited to wear them. It is hot. It is hot here. And so I've had a hard time wearing my knit socks because even if we have some air conditioners in some of our rooms in our house, it still feels too hot to want to put this like on my skin. So we'll have to wait till the weather cools down a little bit. I have been able to wear the past couple nights some socks to bed as like the weather cools down, so maybe I can add these to my sleeping sock rotation for right now until the weather cools down entirely. But I'm really excited about those socks. I do plan to make a pair for my daughter with some modifications to account for her smaller foot size. I already kind of crunched the numbers a little bit as far as how to modify this pattern, and it shouldn't be too hard for me to still have a symmetrical sock and follow this stitch pattern for the most part. I'm gonna, cut off the edges because of my daughter's shoe size, but she is 3. So I think a 48 stitch count sock would work for her, and she really likes the ruffles, and that should be really fun. I should get working on that if she would like a pair of socks. She's hot and cold. She's 3 years old, so we'll see if she really wants me to work on a pair of socks for her right now, or if she'd rather me do something else, because she has some opinions. I also very recently finished one other sock pattern that has been in the works for a while, and this is from The Sock Project by Summer Lee. Yes, this video is coming out hopefully this month for part of my fiber arts related book club that I have on Discord. I selected this book as a read along, make along type of thing. There's not a lot of like book club conversations you can have about a pattern book per se. So I feel like in retrospect this maybe wasn't the best pick, but it was fun to see what other people were making, and people could make other summerly patterns and get this book from the library even to make it a no cost option too. And so it was fun to chat with people and kind of compare what their experience was and what projects they decided to do. I chose to do the Surf Wax socks, and I finished my socks technically on July 1st, but I'm including them in this video. Ta-da! Look at that texture. I just dragged my feet on this. I didn't make the time for this, so I hunkered down the past few days to make sure I could get this done, and I did, and I'm really glad that I did. I do like these socks. I love how these colors work together. You can see that my socks are slightly different sizes because I knit them so far apart. What can you do? You can still wear them. That's what you can do. My gauge was definitely tighter. I feel like on my second sock, I had to keep reminding myself to like loosen up, and it was a little bit hard for me to do that. Going through a stressful time, I guess. I really try not to watch the news, but I still get inundated with stuff, especially this season in preparation for presidential election, all that. It's a stressful time. Anyway, I think that they'll still be fine to wear. I really love these colors. This is Treehouse Knits in the first Flurry sock set. I don't know what this mini is called. It also came with a gray mini, but I felt like I didn't want it to be the heel or the toe. And I do really like my decision to just keep most of the sock the main color and have just this pop of color on the cuff. I really like how these turned out. It's mostly like a slip stitch and a purl stitch type of texture, so not too hard to do. On my second sock, I was kind of fumbling around with my pattern on my phone and my yarn, and I was at church, and I just challenged myself when I was about halfway through the second sock to just do the pattern from memory and from reading my knitting, because I was really familiar with the pattern at that point, and it wasn't hard at all. It's really silly that I waited until halfway through the second sock to actually challenge myself to just read my knitting and knit from memory, because it wasn't that hard. Even though it's an 8-stitch repeat, it's very intuitive. The stitches are all just like shifted one at a time, and so it's pretty easy to follow what you're doing, and to, if you forgot what row you ended on, to look at the pattern and compare and find out what you were doing. I didn't have a hard time. You could definitely memorize this pattern pretty easily. I think if you wanted to challenge yourself to do that, would not be that hard. But I finished that pattern. I need to knit my socks maybe 2 at a time so that my gauge doesn't change too much, but that's a problem for another day. But I do have enough needles at this moment that are not broken, because I tend to break my cords. I put them through a lot of wear and tear. I could probably do 2 at a time. Anyway, let's talk about the last finished object I have. This is the Venezia shawl by Joji Locatelli. Literally, it is beautiful. Oh my goodness. Look at this texture. There's this beautiful lace detail on either side, and then a twisted detail in the middle. In between the increases, you just plow the course, and the increases are very consistent in the way you increase. A lot of what you do is repeated throughout the pattern, so it was really easy to just hammer this pattern out and count my stitches to see how far I was, or count my repeats that I completed to see how far along I was. And that was really nice that I could do that. Though with the lace, I definitely looked at the pattern for that. But between the repeat and the lace, I didn't want to have to juggle between both parts of the pattern because they were on different pages. So it worked out okay that I could just look at the lace pattern and I could do the actual repeat of increasing and decreasing on my shawl without having to look at that part of the pattern. So I really love how this turned out. This yarn is gifted. I was the June ambassador for Kettle and Hearth Fibers, and they gifted me this yarn. This is the color Candy Floss, and I love these colors. It's definitely my color palette. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and it was really fun to do. It's a really good one skein shawl project if you're looking for something like that. I haven't weighed my leftover, but I have maybe like a 10-gram ball left over. 5 to 10 grams left is my guess. I definitely had a little bit of room to like make this pattern work, but I didn't have to try super hard, and it's intended for one skein. It's nice and long. That's why I'm holding it up. I realize I've been holding it up for a while now, but it's nice and long. You could wear it actually like shawl style. It's a cute little size, and I could also like wrap it around if I wanted to because it's long enough. to do like a lightweight scarf. So yeah, I'm happy with how this turned out, and I wanted to share that with you. I think that Kettle and Hearth Fibers has a really interesting ambassador style program, and I also really like their colors, so I definitely recommend that you check them out down below. I don't have an affiliate link or anything, but just I was gifted a skein of yarn. I was asked to make a couple posts on Instagram about it and to share my experience, and I wanted to share that here with you too, because I had a grand old time and I would love to be an ambassador again in the future. We'll see what happens. But this was like my big project that I worked on in the month of June. It did take a while because it was using up a whole skein of fingering weight yarn, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I thought I had a lot more whips, but in looking at my pile, I've got 2, technically 3, so this should be pretty quick. I need to cast on some more things, I think. I have a Muscle Bra by Isolde Teague, and I am maybe halfway. I've gotten quite a ways done on this Muscle Bra. This is using Bird and Begonia yarn in the color Rachel, but spelled with an A instead of an E. And I don't know how to pronounce it, but I love this yarn. It's really pretty. I am a tan, cream, pinky type of person, color palettes, and it has everything. And the way that this pooled, because it's not self-striping, the way that this pooled made those stripes, which is really cool. Beautiful, beautiful yarn. Another really good one skein project for fingering weight yarn. And this is nice that I can just knit as long as I want. It's a really good on the go project, waiting room project, in the car project, at work if I'm doing computer stuff project. I am really happy with it. I have a preference as far as like how slouchy I want my hats. So I'm going to go back through the previous Muscle Bras I've made for myself, and I'm going to make sure to measure so that I can knit this to that size. So I'll probably have a little bit of yarn left over. I like it a little bit slouchy enough I could roll up the brim if I wanted to double up on my ears, but not so long that it's gonna continue to be slouchy if I roll up the brim. But this is coming along. I don't have any plans. It is July, so I am not worried about when this finishes. It probably won't take very long at all. But yeah, I just love the striping. It's almost like a micro striping the way the pooling is. I was trying to do like a modified helical knitting to stagger the white a little bit more so that you don't have quite as thick of stripes, especially some spots definitely have pooled a little bit more, but it was just kind of fiddly and it was only shifting things a little bit, and I felt like for the amount of effort it was taking, like the mental effort it was taking to do that compared to the end result, I felt like I would still really like the striping even if the pooling was like scooched together a little bit. Like I didn't feel like I would have a whole half of my hat would be white or anything like that. I thought I would still get this kind of micro striping look. It would just be a little bit thicker, and I felt like I would still like that. And so I undid like an inch of knitting and I started it again, and I do in fact really like it, and I like that I don't have to pay attention to like where the start of round is, where my other skein of yarn is, etc, etc. I can just knit and it's turning out great. There's still definitely some variability in the striping, but I don't mind it. I think it looks really nice. I was first introduced to Bird and Begonia yarn at the Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair, and I really loved their colors. I think they said they're based in Ogden, like their yarn is at Needlepoint Joint if you are from Utah, and the Utah Yarn Crawl is happening in just like a week and a half or so, and I'm really excited to be able to do it again this year. I have a video from last year that I did the Utah Yarn Crawl. Maybe I'll get some more Bird and Begonia yarn from the Utah Yarn Crawl, and I'll definitely vlog that and take you along with me, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit. My other whip is a little hard to show. I really should have finished this, but I petered out for sure. I have the pieces for Two Frogs by Claire Garland, and I've done all the knitting. So I have like a pile of frog bits here, and I have a pile of frog bits here. I was gonna work on one particular frog that my daughter wanted. She chose black and green. I was gonna do hers first and then make mine, and I haven't finished it. I have this little frog body. It's a little hard to tell because of the dark green and the black. If I make this again, I'll include bigger eyes to make it look a little bit more cute and cartoony instead of more realistic, proportion-wise. Uh-oh, am I missing? I was like, am I missing an arm? Am I missing an arm? No, wait, okay, I found it. I got nervous for a second. I have appendages that have been bent into shape with armature wire I purchased, wrapped some yarn around it. I used some glue. It was messy. I really didn't like the feeling of glue and yarn bits on my finger as I was like manhandling all these pieces. And so that really slowed me down and I did not want to work on this. But I did, when things were dry, start working on a leg. And the way that I joined this together, I really hate. So I put a pause on this project because I want to do a little bit more research on maybe a more seamless way to join this piece together. Or I know there's like an I-cord option for this pattern. I need to look at what I-cord limbs look like. And if I like that look better than what I'm getting here, and if I should start again. Which would make me sad. This is my little leggy, my little frog leg. It's frog legging. My big issue is that this seam is just so big and bulky compared to the rest of the knit piece. I really don't like how that looks. And in the pictures I've seen, it doesn't look like that. So I am either doing a very poor job at seaming it, which is very likely, or people are doing other methods of construction that are more seamless and more clean looking, and I need to look into that. So I have not wanted to because I've been a little bit annoyed at this project because the knitting took me not very long at all, but then it was very anticlimactic because then I had to do a lot of stuff with armature wire and like glue and piecing things together, and it was just like kind of tedious and I was not enjoying it. But the knitting was really quick. But now I just have like a little frog body slug and other frog pieces all over the place. So I should probably finish this soon or else I'm going to lose some frog pieces. And I think I'll really enjoy having some finished froggies. If I can figure out a better way to do these limbs, I think I will continue to make more frogs and have a lot of fun with it because I have a lot of yarn left. But I am almost ready, but not quite ready to work on this project again. That is all the whips we have. Again, I only have a couple things that I've been working on. And at this point, nothing that's really pressing, though I do have a lot of things coming up that I want to talk about. First, I want to talk about some new yarn goodies that I want to share with you that came in the mail recently. First, let's talk about Sock Week. I have so much going on this month. I ordered a couple things for Sock Week. I ordered Yarnaceous Fibers sock set. Ta-da! Which I didn't realize that Maggie is doing both a sock set for Sock Week and a pattern, which is really cool. But this is the Salta Fingery base. It's her 85-15 Sport Merino and nylon. And the color is Petrified Forest. Really pretty. This pink speckled, some mauve, and then there's a gray and a purple contrast. I just really like these colors. I really like Maggie's yarn, so I wanted to support. The other thing I purchased is this bag, one of my friends, Ashley, and it is so cute. It's like campfire themed. Ta-da! There's some yarn, other like camping and outdoorsy related things. So cute. I've got a few of her other bags. And I was really happy to support her because I was really excited that she was selected to be a Sock Week sponsor this year. She's also got more heavy duty closure this year with like the rope. I don't know if that's something she's gonna continue to do or if that was special for this bag. So it's a little bit more rugged for camping in the outdoors. And I'm really excited to use this bag for Sock Week. And I don't have a plan yet. I need to make a plan for what I'm going to work on in Sock Week. My very first Sock Week, I knit my first sock ever or my second sock ever. I think I knit my second sock ever. I knit the first sock before Sock Week and then I finished the pair in Sock Week maybe? I can't remember. Anyway, I finished one sock my first week and it was part of my first pair of socks ever. And then the next year I did 3 whole socks in Sock Week. 2023, I was a sponsor and I did not have a lot of time that week because I was working full time. I was a sponsor. I think I knit 1 or 2 socks that week. I can't even remember. I know I participated, but this year, I don't know also what I'm going to make, but I am definitely going to be knitting some socks and putting it in this bag. Maybe I'll use this yarn. That would be fun to support both Maggie and Ashley. And Ashley was so nice, and she included in my purchase this cute little fabric bookmark. She knows that I really like books, and I've been doing a lot of book content on my YouTube channel and on my Instagram, and so I'm sure that's why she decided to throw this in. It's pumpkin themed, so cute. I'll have to throw that in with my bookmark collection. So that's my Sock Week related purchases. Sock Week is coming up. It is, I have a calendar here, trying to organize my mind. Sock Week is on July 21st through the 28th. So there are 8 days. It's nitty natties, make along. You knit one adult sock within those 8 days, like start to finish. And you can knit as many socks as you want. But the point is one sock in 8 days. So one sock in about a week. Not a lot of time, but if that's what you're focusing on, it's definitely doable. So I'm planning on participating in that. I've got a couple other skeins here that I want to share with you. I've definitely not had as many yarns coming in recently, which is nice. Not as chaotic, and kind of trying to catch up a little bit on what I've got. First, I've got this yarn from Forbidden Fiber Co. I decided to do their Novel Notions book club, where you can pick what base of yarn you get. You can pick whether you get an audiobook version of the book, whether you get a physical copy of the book, or whether you just bring your own book and you can participate in a book club. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, and I also don't know what I'm going to make with this. I wanted to try out more book related yarns, and so this was recommended to me. This was the second month that I've done it. I have the second and third month here. So I've got, this is the Pride base. It is Colorway Fantasy. So pretty. And then the next color just came in the mail. And this is the color Fiction in the Fortitude base. This is really pretty. A patina color almost to this. Really pretty variegated. And the other yarn I have is also kind of in this blue teal category. So I don't know if they're all supposed to go together in the end, or if that's just what this dyer is leaning towards. These colors don't necessarily match the books that they are associated with, so it's really interesting. I would love to know more about the inspiration behind these colors, but they're really pretty. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet, so if you have any ideas. They are all fingering weight bases. It's fun that they did the sparkle yarn for this. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, look at that sparkle. Not sure what I'm gonna make it with that, but it's fun to try out. And I do want to participate in the book club eventually. I just haven't gotten around to the books that they've been doing. I am a little inundated and it's hard to keep up. I also got this yarn very recently, 2 days ago, and it matches my shirt. I almost think I wore this shirt last month for my podcast. Oops. But this is from Red Door Fiber, and this is 5 Minutes Alone with You in a Drawing Room, and this is inspired by season 3 of Bridgerton. I have read the Bridgerton books. I've not seen the series because I don't have Netflix, and it's just really pretty. This purple doesn't quite match. It's a little bit more warm. I love the way that Kate does pastels. She's been doing them more frequently recently, and I really love this color. So pretty with the blues and the purples. I do really like Colin and Penelope's story in the book. I'm not sure how I would feel about the TV show because I've heard that they've changed some things, especially some dynamics between the characters. But I do definitely love the yarn from Red Door. And then the last skein I wanted to share with you, this is actually from Joann's, and I was just walking through Joann's with my daughter. We were doing some browsing. They already have Halloween stuff up. So we were starting to look at some of that because she loves Halloween, and we made sure to go by like the kids craft section and get her a couple little things. And I made sure to go look at the yarn, and I found this. It is the Casey yarn brand. I think this is their higher end in-house brand, but this is 75% merino superwash and 25% polyamide. I don't see polyamide a lot, but the socks I've knit with polyamide, I really liked the feel of knitting those socks. And so every time I see yarn with some polyamide in it, I want to buy it because I know I really like the feel of that yarn. And this is the color I purchased. This is the color Unicorn Swirl. Really pretty. It just felt really summery. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to this, but it just felt really fun and I really liked it. And it was the last one left. And so that made me want to buy it even more. All right, let's talk about some plans for July. There is a lot coming your way, so buckle in. Like I said, I'm going to participate in Sock Week. I may do a vlog about it. It might be a little bit more abbreviated. I'm trying to hone in on my vlogging style so I don't have so much footage to go through, because I feel like people don't like to watch an hour-long vlog. And so I'm trying to work on that. That means I need to practice, so I'm gonna try to film a little bit from Sock Week. And I also want to participate in another make-along, Stephen West Mystery Knit-Along, for the Color Opportunity socks. And this is his second year doing a mystery summer sock knit-along. And I participated last year. I have the Contrast Blast socks, and I did 2 vlogs actually, because I didn't want to wait till all the clues were released before I started coming out with videos so that people could kind of watch in real time more. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that again. I don't know exactly how I'm going to arrange it, but I really like doing that, and I feel like it went really well, and it definitely kept me accountable to work on that first sock and get it done. So I'm hoping to do another vlog, if not 2 again this year. And let me show you the yarn I've got picked out. Also, some Yarnaceous Fibers. This is a new sock set I recently bought from the Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair. This is the Sheepasaurus Rex sock yarn. This is the Sheepasaurus Rex sock set from Yarnaceous. So pretty. I just really like this color palette, and I wanted to include some variegated within this sock pattern from Stephen West, and he said as long as there's strong contrast you can do a variegated or 2. Got a variegated main color, and then this dark blue will be a really great contrast to it. There's a little bit of blue speckles in here, and I think it'll coordinate really well. I'm really excited about that. I have a hard time picking contrasting colors, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. I also have 2 minis from Swirl yarn that my mom got me a mini skein set a while back, and I've been just pulling mini skeins out of that set, and I pulled these 2. I think these will also really go well. You can see this like light teal kind of pulls in here, and this dark purple kind of fits in color palette wise, but not exactly the same as the majority of the socks. So I'm really excited with this combination that I've come up with, and I am really excited to cast on these socks. I need to wind up and get ready to go, because Stephen West Mystery Knit Along starts, again my calendar, on the 9th, which is next week. That's when Clue 1 comes out, and he'll have 4 clues, he says, so for the next 4 weeks of July. So you should expect to see at least a video from me sometime in July, if not right at the very end of July, beginning of August time frame. A couple videos that I have coming as well include Woolberry Fiber Co's Summer Book Society box. This box is empty. I've already opened all the goodies, and they are currently on the floor of my room because I've started filming that video. So that review of the book included, as well as all the goodies, and especially the yarn that I'm opening up with the book, is going to come out sometime this month as I finish that up. I'm really excited about that. It's a nice, cozy, general fiction book that I'm enjoying so far, and I'm really excited to really dive in and to see this beautiful yarn. I have a couple other videos if you're not sure exactly what I'm talking about. I've done a couple of vlogs, one from Woolberry Fibers winter box and one from the spring box, so you can take a look at the pattern that I'm making with this yarn, as well as what's usually included in these boxes and how the process goes of opening the box, reading the book, opening the yarn, and making the pattern that I selected from all of these yarns. So I'm really excited about that. Another book box that I have, I am accumulating. Usually I'm more on top of it, but I have not been on top of it. So we have a few book box videos coming really soon. This is the Yarnaceous Book Club book box for the month of June. It came on the later end of June, so I haven't had a chance to get into this, but I'm planning on filming a vlog as I open this box as well. The difference between this box and the Woolberry Fiber Co box is that while you still open packages with goodies based on a certain page or a chapter that you're reading within the selected book, the Yarnaceous Fibers book box has all of the goodies packaged up instead of just the yarn packaged up. And so you're opening a lot more smaller packages and getting to see the other goodies, some fun things to eat, maybe some teas, some little notions, some yarn. There's a pattern included. Ashley of Goose and Ghost Knits has designed the pattern for this box, which is the Dragon Teeth box by Michael Crichton. I don't know how to pronounce his name. That's coming up. I'm really excited. I already loaned the book from my library, and so I'm really excited to get into it. But I have a lot going on, and so I'm trying to juggle a lot without having too many open tabs in my brain at once. And so I'm probably going to finish the Woolberry book box first and then get to Dragon Teeth. But the Yarnaceous Fibers book box for the month of August will go live. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. I'll link it down below. I really enjoyed Maggie's book boxes as well. And so I highly recommend that if you're interested in getting another type of book box that is a little bit more frequent than Woolberry Fiber Co's book box, that you take a look at Maggie's stuff. And I'll also try to link up above and down below if I have cards available, but I might have used them all up. I'll try to link the vlogs that I've filmed of previous book boxes. I read Butcher and Blackbird was the first book box in February, and then in April it was A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. And so I've really enjoyed getting to branch out in my reading through both of these book boxes, and I definitely recommend that you check out these makers and the creative endeavors that they've been working on. Between all of these plans I have, with 2 different book boxes, a yarn crawl, a mystery knit along for Stephen West, and Sock Week, I do not know what else I'll get to in the month of July. I'm going to be a very, very busy person. But there are definitely more projects coming. There is one in the book box that I haven't seen yet, and I'm really excited to get to. And I think you can purchase that pattern outside of the book box as well. I guess I'll throw it out here in this place in the podcast. But last year, I designed 2 sock patterns for Knitty Netty Sock Week. I was a sponsor, and I'm really grateful that both of those sock patterns were so successful. It was a really great opportunity. They are the Shark Bite socks, both the knit version and crochet, so that whichever craft that you work on, you could knit socks that have a similar look. I'm going to be putting those sock patterns on sale both on my Ravelry and Etsy shops in preparation for Sock Week. So if you are interested in purchasing those patterns and have not yet, they're going to be available for you as well. Though I'm not a sponsor this year, and I definitely recommend you check out some of the sponsored patterns this year. There's really not a lot of news for us as far as like family stuff and like what we've been working on. Trying to survive because the 90-degree weather has hit and it is taking a lot out of me. Even with fans, even with some small air conditioning units, it's hard to get outside when it feels so hot. But we're making do, and we actually spent a few days up in Idaho. We rented an Airbnb as an extended family on my husband's side, and we enjoyed having a few days out camping, and that was really fun. I'll make sure to pop up a couple pictures. My daughter really enjoyed being at the cabin, and she was very sad when we were leaving the cabin, and I told her that we don't own the cabin, so we might not be able to go back. But I'm glad that she really enjoyed her time there, and it was really fun for her to play with the cousins, and it was just a really good time. We didn't have quite everybody there from my husband's extended family, but we had most everyone there, and we really enjoyed ourselves getting away a little bit. But other than that, we really haven't been doing very much. Just kind of trucking along and looking forward to it being a busy month in July as far as fiber arts go, but I'm really excited for everything that's coming. We'll hopefully this month get a chance to also do some home improvement type projects and to really make some progress there. My husband wants to knock out our fence because we do want a different fence, but I said we need to finish a couple other small projects before we start a big demolition like that because I know it'll be really fun to knock down a fence, but if we don't finish other things, then we'll probably just also have a half knockdown fence or a knockdown fence without replacing it with something we like better. It's really hard to finish projects. I don't know if you have felt the same way. Please give me all your tips and tricks because we have a lot of half done things around here at our house. I could blame my husband because he's got ADHD and he's the more DIY home improvement type person, but I am as much to blame on the not finishing projects front as he is. So this podcast has been shorter than I thought it would be, but thanks for joining me as I share with you everything that I worked on in the month of June, as well as some new yarn goodies that I have and some exciting plans for the month of July. We have a lot coming up as far as video content goes, and I'm sure those videos will bleed into the month of August as well, but don't worry, I've got a lot of book content on here that has stacked up, so make sure to check out my book playlist if you want to learn more about the kind of books that I've been reading recently. And I also have my June Reads video coming out really soon as well. Until next time, happy making. Bye!